Today, Russia faces a number of ambitious economic objectives. Formation of new landscape for economic growth, creation of new industries and new industrial, scientific, and educational centers in Russian cities and regions. This task would be impossible without the attraction of direct investments into regional economies. Russian Special Economic Zones, SEZ, are one of the effective tools for the creation of new economy. The project was launched 7 years ago. As of today, 27 economic zones of 4 types have been established. Every year, we notice an increase in the quality of residents and a rise of general interest in the SEZ project. We have a significant amount of declared investments from the residents. We also have invested quite a lot of money to develop the infrastructure in order to support the activities of SEZ residents. 7 years have passed since the formation of the first Russian SEZs. During this period, much work has been done. We have managed to construct the infrastructure of special economic zones and the foundation for future growth. Most importantly, that foreign companies and Russian businessmen have expressed serious interest in becoming SEZ residents, which has been supported by previous experience of economic cooperation. We have asked the responsible executives of the Ministry of Economic Development of the Russian Federation and the head of the managing company in the Russian Special Economic Zones to present this project and its benefits for investors. We were the first foreigners to appear in the Lipetsk Special Economic Zone and have found an ideal investment climate here and received support of local authorities as well as other support eventually. As for the companies that operate in the SEZ, they have not spent a dime to promote our status here and received everything for free.
Облегчит наш статус. Получили все бесплатно.
While looking for a site for tire plant construction, Yokohama RPZ has inspected 21 Russian regions and eventually chose the Lipetsk Special Economic Zone. The reasons for doing this included a developed infrastructure, a large land plot, and tax concessions. The adjacent city to the Special Economic Zone is Lipetsk, with a population of about 500,000. This benefits plant staff recruitment. The Special Economic Zone is a federal state project. Therefore, it receives support of Lipetsk regional authorities.
In 2008, Packard has decided to establish its own plant in Russia. Looking at the past, we have made many researches where we can go, and Special Economic Zone was one of the opportunities to go with. Both setting up the plant and making all in operation has been done according to our schedule. We do see that this is a nice conclusion we have made. It's a nice decision that Packard made regarding Russia and Special Economic Zone.
Automation is an industry based on people's talent, professionalism, and knowledge. We are willingly promoting business engineering knowledge among young people. A lot of specialists receive education and training in St. Petersburg. So special economic zones and businesses should make maximum use of this potential to develop their companies, their city, and their country. We have enjoyed SEZ support that helped to handle certain issues, and risks were taken not just by us, but by SEZ administration as well. Our relations are developing with a good and dynamic mood. The strategic task for us now is to substitute most non-domestic pharmaceuticals with domestic analogs of comparable quality. And I assume that state-private partnership has good prospects here, as complex problems can't be solved solely by commercial companies. And we expect support and meaningful dialogue with the SEZ. St. Petersburg has been chosen both as a large city and an intellectual center, and as a city with numerous educational institutions, including those in the pharmaceutical sphere. That is a city with a large workforce capacity and intellectual potential. At the moment, we are implementing a manufacturing complex construction project. A wide array of issues concerning interaction with governmental bodies and monopolies has been addressed with the help of branch offices of the special economic zones. I'd like to express our sincere gratitude for that.
The Alabaga Special Economic Zone is fully realized. All the infrastructure is in place. We built a factory and it's operating perfectly. So I can't talk about other special economic zones, but that one works. The customer service of the authorities in a special economic zone is very important. If they have a good business orientation, try and understand our needs, then we can have a very good partnership and it can make it very easy for us to operate our business.
The general idea of special economic zones is that the state provides land and utilities in exchange for technology and investments. On the whole, such a formula works fine. At the moment, we are actively constructing our project. We see the utilities of the Zelenograd SEZ will be available by the time we launch our project, and we will receive everything that is necessary for its operation: electricity, heat, and water. We were particularly interested in the land plot, as we have the opportunity to purchase it after the commissioning of the project at an advantageous price. Tax concessions and a number of tax advantages are of particular interest too. All in all, this enables an investor to obtain great competitive advantages in the market. A port special economic zone provides corresponding preferences for business. They include zero VAT for all services that will be rendered there, profit tax reduction, and allocation of a business site with complete fuel and energy infrastructure for residents. This is a very important business factor. Another important factor is the Ulyanovsk Aviation Cluster enterprises that are located nearby. This helps to promote additional projects related to technical maintenance, re-equipment, and modernization of aircraft. The managing company, SEZ JSC, offers various services, from enterprise founding to registration, and every support being a single point of contact. In my opinion, these services are very welcome by newly arrived residents, as well as by companies that are willing to become residents. I believe that special economic zones are indeed a modern and very efficient tool for economic development of Russia. To see that Russian special economic zones are developing quite well, one should visit one of them personally. As for the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Russia, I'd like to say that we have been supporting this process from the very beginning. I mean the process of SEZ creation, formation, and development. We will willingly continue to cooperate in this regard by establishing and developing special economic zones together with the Special Economic Zones JSC. The time of one-company projects is long gone. Implementation of large-scale projects requires a pool of like-minded partners. I believe that having the state among the partners is the most feasible and interesting option. In particular, Biruzovaya Katun project is being implemented within the framework of state-private partnership. The entire infrastructure, roads, electrical grid, and utility systems has already been constructed, and everything looks top quality and very modern. I mean, it is already a complete product. Working in a special economic zone is notably more comfortable than working at a site where a businessman has to perform the development and construction of travel infrastructure at his own expense. A major benefit of participation in the Baikal Gates Special Economic Zone is unquestionably the access to utility and energy infrastructure that ensures consistent resort development, increases in visits, and favorable future prospects. Secondly, the definite benefit is tax concessions that shorten our investment payback period. The Gora Sobalinaya Resort is a cornerstone resident of the Baikal Gates SEZ, and we have successful cooperation with the SEZ Central Office and the SEZ Regional Branch Office in regard to zone promotion, target audience access, and the search for potential investors. If we look back to the first years of the project and our past ideas that seemed to be the most important at that time, and if we compare it with the effectiveness of recent measures and implemented legislative adjustments, we will see such a great difference and progress that we have achieved in these 7 years. The accuracy of our approach, as well as correct placement of the Russian SEZ on the global investment market, are acknowledged by our latest residents, who are certainly welcome here. During the 7 years since 2005, 27 special economic zones, the new Russian economy growth centers, have been established in Russia, and thousands of new high-skilled jobs have been created. Dozens of global brand companies operate within the territory of Russian Russez. Hundreds of Russian companies manufacture competitive products and carry out research in priority areas. We have developed an effective business model for each economic zone that offers a complete set of attractive elements for investors. We employ the best international practices of innovative economic organization and administration and strive to provide top-level customer service on each stage of the project implementation. We are developing special economic zones with the full understanding of our responsibility to investors and the citizens of our country. We understand, changing the present, we create the future. Depend to a large extent on us as well. By changing the present, we create the future.